With futuristic technology, advanced weaponry, and a completely new way to execute missions, the Call of Duty series is ready to move into the 21st century. So strap in, hold on, and get ready for Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Joining us today is Mark Lamia, Treyarch Studio Head.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so right now, before we even really get started, I want to take a look at right now. This is something that nobody's actually seen before. This is the load screen. I like it. It's very brooding.
Yeah, well, you probably wouldn't want to, meet this guy in a dark place. It's pretty Black Ops.
You're right. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about, we have, I think, the year's most anticipated game here right now in our studio. So will you tell us a little bit about what the story is?
Sure. So the game takes place primarily in the year 2025, and you're going to be playing as David Mason. You're on the hunt for the villain, Raul Menendez, and he's stoking the fires of a Cold War scenario fiction that we've created in that year 2025 between the United States and China. Now, some of this game also takes place in the 1980s, and during that era, when you're going to be playing with characters that you played with in Black Ops, Alex Mason, Frank Woods, Jason Hudson, and that's where you're going to learn the origins of this villain and what his motivations are, what he's going after. And when you talk about creating a fiction in the year 2025 in a Cold War scenario, and the Black Ops that are going to be surrounding it, well, that's what this level is that we're going to be showing you here today. That's what these Strike Force levels are all about. It's about these proxy wars in the year 2025. There are going to be these hotspots. They introduce non-linearity to campaign structure. So at some point in the level, JSOC's going to be coming to you, and you're going to be in charge of a Black Ops team. This is not the character arc that you're playing as David Mason, right? This is the character. This is the geopolitical arc of the game. There's these different arcs, different stories in the game, and what you're doing is they're coming to you and they're saying, look, there's this hotspot here. We need to send in a Black Ops unit, but you're going to get a choice of those. And in this case, we've gone into Singapore here. And, like I said, it introduces non-linearity to the campaign, but what you're also going to see is it introduces sandbox gameplay and all kinds of new gameplay elements. Shannon is right now playing it straight up, first-person shooter, gun in hand, boots on the ground, like you'd expect from Call of Duty. But you also notice that she can do a lot of other things, and I think that's what this mode is going to be all about. There's going to be a lot of unique gameplay. How you want to take on these levels will be up to you.
So now she could do it in a different, she couldn't sort of do the sort of standard Rambo method. She could kind of do it a different way.
She could, absolutely. So, for example, if she wants to, right now what she's done is she's gone to Overwatch mode, and she's taking a more strategic approach to the level. She wants to take a look at where her Black Ops squad is. She wants to take a look at what the enemies are doing, and she's laying down some waypoints for her squad and for the equipment that she has on the battlefield. Right now she's moved into one of the units there, and she's doing some battle. But she can also take control of all of the technology on the battlefield in this particular level. Now, each of these levels are going to be different. You're not necessarily going to come in with the same equipment in each one of these levels. In this one, there's an interesting match going on where you are fighting a team that also has the technology of the battlefield there. So she was just fighting a claw there, right? That's the cognitive land assault weapon. That is a heavy piece of machinery. She's an assault sentry drone right now. She's just decided, you know what, I want to take over one of the drones in the battlefield. It's fast, it's agile, it can take on this heavy that is the cognitive land assault weapon that would have totally wiped her out if she tried to go toe-to-toe with it as a Black Ops soldier.
Now, is this something that she could actually, complete the whole level in Overwatch, or is this something that, you really got to get in there and do some fighting on your own?
No, you could. Well, yeah, you can complete this level however you want. That's actually the cool thing about this. One of the things we were going after is we wanted to be able to provide choice and nonlinearity and some sandbox gameplay to that Call of Duty experience. We have cinematic gameplay that everyone loves from Call of Duty. That we have that there in spades. But these are entirely new missions that'll allow you to actually take over whatever you want that's available on the battlefield. And in this case, she's fought.
Yeah, I see the sort of the signature quadcopters there.
Absolutely. So, but she could take over and play the quadcopter. So why don't you do that right now, Shannon, if they're deployed for you? And she just jumped into hers. Instead of having the AI take over, she's just flying through the level now, and she's going to take out some bad guys.
Okay, but see, this hardly seems fair. See, this seems like it gives you a little bit too much of an advantage.
No, actually it doesn't at all. I mean, the AI is really advanced. You can play this on different difficulty levels. And, as far as the game structure is concerned, you know, you're not going to have an unlimited amount of lives like you do when you play Call of Duty. You know, you die and then you can come back. It's not going to be the case with these levels. At some point, you're out, and you could fail these missions. And when you fail these missions, you know, that's it. I mean, the story and the narrative will progress. It'll take account of the fact that you failed. The Cold War in the year 2025 will be affected. The geopolitical arc of the game will be forever changed. It'll go off into a different tangent.
I'm going to have my power button on the ready. I mean, I would never do that. That's kind of cheating. Which is your favorite weapon? What stands out for you?
I like flying the quads. There's something about, you know, being able to have that freedom inside. She's in the claw right now. It feels really powerful. There's a mini on top of that thing. You can just totally lay waste, you know. I think the nice thing is, you know, it's like she's obviously got an LMG there. She's got assault rifles. She's got futurized automatic machine pistols. You know, favorite, it just depends on what you're up against, right? So, and that's the cool thing about this level. It really does allow you the freedom to go about it however you want to play it. I think, you know, one of the fundamentals that we were going after with this is making sure it was still accessible to the Call of Duty player who just wants to play it like they played every single Call of Duty player, but has depth for the experienced Call of Duty player, the player that's been saying to us, hey, we want to play, you know, we want to have some more freedom of choice inside the campaign and how we approach a level and how we play it. Well, that's what you're going to have here. And then, you know, having that sort of depth along with that comes, you know, replayability. It's sort of like the holy trinity of game design.
All right, as promised, we've got more Call of Duty Black Ops 2 in the future of the series. Joining us once again, Treyarch studio head, Mr. Mark Lamia is here, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. I see that shackle we have on your ankle is tight there. I like that a lot. First thing I got to say, number one, thanks for showing us that start screen, because I'm going to make that my wallpaper, because when I wake my computer up, I want it to be angry with me. So I'm going to leave that on there, and it'll be great. What I want to talk to you about is the story, and specifically how you crafted it. This is something that seems incredibly plausible, which is terrifying to me in a way, but who did you guys bring in to kind of write this story and help you craft this experience?
So we brought in a futurist. He's a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute. His name is Peter Singer. Mm-hmm. I think you have to understand, like, so at Treyarch, what we do is, you know, when we're crafting our historical scenarios, right, we go to experts to help us, you know, research it and become experts, and then we craft our fiction and we build our worlds having all that information. We approached the future the exact same way. It was important that it felt grounded, it felt plausible, and so what Peter Singer does at the Brookings Institute is, amongst other things, he advises world leaders on what they need to concern themselves with in the coming decade. We approached him because he was the author of a book on advanced robotics and warfare and drone warfare, and we wanted to be able to, you know, create plausible, futurized weapons and technology, and really what he did is he opened our eyes up to really a lot of the issues that are going to be, you know, on that landscape. You know, there's this whole network battlefield. What does that actually mean for warfare? You know, as cyber warfare becomes a more significant part of everything. He talked to us about, you know, how to set up our Cold War fiction in the future. What is that going to be over? You know, he talked to us about this thing called rare earth elements. You know, we have them in all of our consumer electronics. We have them, in fact, we have them in the thing that's going to replace what is the current rare earth, or excuse me, the rare resource on Earth right now, right? It's oil. There's a lot of conflict in the world over oil, right? Well, he's saying, you know what? In the future, rare earth elements are going to be this thing that's going to cause a lot of tension in the world, because, you know, there's going to be you know, a lot of need for that, and it's in these things that are going to be replacing you know, our energy dependencies of today, and it's going to be something that's going to be making the headlines. So. You know, it's in all these advanced robotics and drones and all the advanced military technologies. And what he's saying is basically, hey, look, you're going to have this scenario in the future where, you know, you could have these tensions that are going to rise in, and that, you know, there is a country, China, that controls most of these in the world, and you could craft a fiction where you can see how the tension in the world might you know, come about because of this.
So what I got from all that is that 5 years from now, you could murder me in a grocery store for the materials of my cell phone. It's basically what you're saying here. This is a future that we may have coming to us. And one of the coolest things I think about the story and the crafting of the story is you actually recruited a pretty prominent Hollywood screenwriter to help create the villain. So who did you guys actually bring on board for that?
So it was David Goyer, right? And we brought him in actually started working with him towards the end of Black Ops 1. He really helped us hone in on our script and our story and our character development. And he enjoyed that process so much working with our director, Dave Anthony, that they got to work right away creating Black Ops 2. And they really had a very ambitious, some very ambitious creative goals. They wanted to, continue to tell the stories of the characters from Black Ops, continue their stories that we started with. Those are really interesting characters and their story arcs. But he wanted to also take on creating a really memorable villain inside the Call of Duty franchise, someone who was a three-dimensional villain. And I can't think of having somebody better to work with, somebody who's, brought new life back into the Batman franchise with the Dark Knight, who created that Joker character that people are so familiar with, and helping us create that three-dimensional villains. And taking on that challenge, the team also wanted to take on branching storylines, and to have someone who's as accomplished as him working with us to help craft that fiction was great. It's something that not only we wanted to do, but he wanted to do. And I think that's the interesting thing. It's like, they talk about games and are we working with people in Hollywood? It's like, Hollywood wants to work in games.
Sure.
And David Goyer, he's not only is he a great film writer, but he's a gamer, and he gets our medium, and he really enjoys working in it.
All right. So expanding on that, what can you tell me about Dark Knight Rises? Nothing? Okay, fantastic. My last thing for you, and you've been so candid about everything, and we really appreciate your time. Look, pre-sales have indicated that this is going to be probably the biggest game of the year, right? Truly, did you feel, what was your level of pressure internally to create something that you knew would have a ton of buzz right off the front? I mean, at Black Ops, it did so well. You could have just sat back. You could have said, look, we're going to move a ton of units because this franchise is so great. How did you motivate to elevate this experience to the next level? Because, again, you could have just sat back. You could have just sat back and made a ton of money. How do you motivate your people to do better things?
I think you have to go out every time and earn it. Mm-hmm. You know what? There's a lot of great games being made in this industry, and I don't think you can ever sit back. And I think, having the mindset that, while we were proud of what we created with Black Ops, what you have to do is you do have to look internally. What you have to do is do better than you've ever done before, and that was our goal with this one. Is we wanted to create, the best works of our lives. Like I said, feeling, it's a very humbling feeling to know that there's so many people that are anticipating the game. Sure. But you have to go out there and earn it every time.
Well, it looks like you have accomplished just that. I cannot thank you enough for your time, my friend.
Thank you.
Another big round of applause for Michael Ami, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.